how do we start thinking at a national level and an industry level about where pathways to growth might be? Where can we find sectors in the South African and global economy which perhaps will be job creating rather than job destroying? And the South Africa in the Digital Age Initiative has come up with a number of areas to consider to create jobs in the digital economy. 3 of these would be, how do we find labor-absorbing platforms? People talk, for example, about Uber or Airbnb, where you don't need to be highly skilled to be able to be employed as an Uber driver or an Airbnb host. What other labor-absorbing platforms can we think about to create jobs? It could be, for example, AI data tagging to help the training. There could be huge opportunities. I don't want to say that is it, but there will definitely be other labor-absorbing platforms which we can think about. A second area that the South Africa in the digital age have come up with is the idea of South Africa as a test bed for frontier technologies, to take emerging technologies from around the world and apply them in a way which is related to South Africa's particular demand conditions, but which also find application in Africa and globally. And how can we use these to create competitive and differentiated offerings which create jobs and exports and competitiveness? And the third area that SADA have thought about is this idea of globally traded services. We used to call it business process outsourcing, but increasingly there's a market for services in the digital economy which don't necessarily need you to have digital specific skills and digital generic skills. They need you to be able to speak English, for example, and do some tasks which you can be trained to do. So I think it's important that we think about ways to create jobs in South Africa which are relevant to South Africa, which will be job creating, export creating, and economically growth enhancing.